Hi everyone, in today's video I'll be talking about Canninghill Piers. My name is Jim Tay and I've been very blessed and privileged to be appointed as one of the Project ICs for this upcoming iconic development in Singapore. I'll be sharing with you why, if you're a buyer in the market right now, whether you're looking for a property for own stay or for investment, Canninghill Piers is definitely a once in a blue moon project you need to keep your eye on and consider for your next purchase. I hope that by the end of this video you'll learn more and you'll be excited to come and view Canninghill Piers when it opens for the preview launch. Details on how you can do that will be shared later on in this video. Without further ado, let's get into the details, so keep watching. Here's what I'll be covering in this video. First, for those who are still unaware what is Canninghill Piers, I'll be sharing with you the 3 L's, very important 3 L's that I think you need to know when it comes to Canninghill Piers. And no, it's not location, location, location. Third point I'll be sharing is what I think a lot of investors will be looking at is the pricing. So what price is justifiable? As we know, as of now, prices have not been officially announced yet. So this will be based on my own estimates on what might be reasonable for Canninghill Piers. Finally, I would be summing it all up. Now I'm getting right into it. Please do leave me a like. It helps me a lot. It encourages me to make more videos. Subscribe to my channel if you're not yet a subscriber. So, what is Canninghill Piers? Do you recognize this site? This is the site of the former Liang Court. Over here on the right is Clarke Quay, and towards the east is, as you can see from the pictures, is our central business district. It has already been torn down, and in its place, you will stand Canninghill Piers. As you can see, it's a much taller tower than Liang Court. In fact, Liang Court, if sources were right, is 25 stories, and Canninghill Piers would be almost double its height. You can see that the 2 towers would now become 5 separate podiums. The orange podiums 1 and 5 will be 2 blocks of residential towers. The blue would be a service apartment run by Somerset Service Apartment by Escort CapitaLand and Moxie Hotel by Marriott Group. There will also be a 2-story plus 1 basement commercial podium known as Canninghill Square. So it is definitely going to be an iconic development, much taller than many of its surroundings, something which I'll get into more later. Of course, most importantly, very important factor that people consider are the developers, and I'm pleased to say that Canninghill Piers is being developed by 2 of our most reputable developers in Singapore, CapitaLand and City Developments. So, what are the 3 L's of Canninghill Piers? If it's not location, 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 then what might it be? Here's what I think Canninghill Piers best represents. It is location, landmark, and limited edition. I'll be going into more detail on each of these L's to share with you. First, location. Where is Canninghill Piers? This is Canninghill Piers. It's in District 6 and it would have direct access to Fort Canning MRT station, whether you're just crossing the road on the first floor or from the basement. There will be a direct link to Fort Canning MRT as well. The other MRT that's close by is Clarke Quay MRT, which is a 5 to 8 minute walk away. What's so special about this location at Canninghill Piers? Well, besides for its easy connectivity to the bustling MRT station Fort Canning, being an integrated development, you are so close to very, very popular sites in Singapore. The Robertson Quay area, the Clarke Quay Central area, Chinatown, and towards the north, not too far away from Dhoby Ghaut, Somerset area, and for recreation purposes, Fort Canning Park. Canninghill Piers, for your information, is the only residential development that will have a direct link to Fort Canning Park, which is the largest park in central Singapore. How does this matter to you and why it's so important for Canninghill Piers? At Canninghill Piers, I want to take a look, zoom out a bit to look at the master plan of Singapore. You'll see that the master plan is split into 5 main regions: the west, the north, the northeast, the east, and the central. What many of us may not know is that there is a smaller, more specific region in Singapore. This region in red, you see here. Ladies and gentlemen, this region is known as the central area. If you go to URA, the regional highlights, you will see that there are in fact 5 different regions. Sorry, my laser pointer just ran out of steam. If you see this page on URA called the regional highlights, you'll see that there's a focus on the 5 regions of Singapore as well as the central area. And what is the central area? The central area stands as Singapore's dynamic city centre and is home to a global business and financial hub and a vibrant 24/7 lifestyle destination. It is, in some ways I would put it, a very key area of Singapore, and you'll see why when I zoom in closer to show you what places and what important landmarks are within this central area. Here it is. You'll see that the central zone consists of the financial, economic and tourism key spots of Singapore, such as Orchard Road, Bras Basah, the Marina Centre, CBD and Marina Bay. This area is consistently being rejuvenated by the Singapore government. In fact, two major plans have already been announced. The first is Orchard Road, where it's going to be rejuvenated and revitalized to fit the upcoming changing trends in shoppers' habits. We always read about it in the news if you realize of late. The second is the Central Business District, where also the government has encouraged plans for the CBD buildings. In fact, have already released plans to actually change it to build more usable area for residential as well, to make it more of a work, live and play environment. And this central area being so key to Singapore, it's like how Manhattan, the area of Manhattan is to New York City. It's that amount of importance where everything is going on. You'll find that Canninghill Piers is located right at the center, right at the heart of this central area. Yep. Next thing about location that I want to talk about is the conservation zones. So, Canninghill Piers is again located at an area where there are many conserved sites around. You'll see towards the southeast, this plot of conserved sites, the shop houses, which are the current Clarke Quay nightlife area. Towards the north, the Fort Canning Park is also a conserved area. Further towards the east, you'll also find that this area, the Boat Quay conservation site, is also highlighted red. The fundamental principle of conservation applicable to conserved buildings, you'll see there, irrespective of scale and complexity, you want to retain it, restore it and repair it. So generally, what does this mean? This means that the structure of these conserved places would remain largely similar, so you would not expect them to be torn down and being built into high-rise buildings. So in that sense, Canninghill Piers will have a view towards the southeast and the northeast that will probably be there for the long foreseeable future. Next L, Canninghill Piers is a landmark. So how is Canninghill Piers a landmark? Well, I shared briefly earlier, it's a building that's going to be 48 stories high, the tallest residential building along the Singapore River, 180 meters. Tallest residential block along the Singapore River. These, combined with the key location in the central area and the low-rise conservation houses around, will mean that at Canninghill Piers, you will literally stand out among your surroundings. The closest building towards the west, beside Fort Canning MRT station, is UE Square. And you realize that UE Square is only 18 stories high. The central at Clarke Quay is 25 stories high. Both of these buildings, Canninghill Piers, tower over them as it is 48 stories high. Imagine what kind of views you would have at Canninghill Piers and how much of an iconic landmark building it would become. Towards all directions, A, B, C and D, as you can see from here, towards the west is River Valley, towards the south you can see the Singapore River, Pearls Hill, towards the east you see Marina Bay Sands, of course, and towards the north, Fort Canning Park. All pretty magnificent views if you ask me, and you'll see that Canninghill Piers is able to tower across all the nearby buildings. This definitely is one of the highlights. If you do decide to get a premium view towards the east, yep, Canninghill Piers, this one is a pretty much confirmed view because of all the conserved shop houses over here and further beyond. You can see National Day fireworks on any other major key occasions in Singapore. The next L I would like to share with you is limited edition. Why limited edition? Because of course it's an integrated development. This is a list that I've prepared of the integrated developments in Singapore, and there are only 20. Of this 20, when we really look in more detail and scrutinize, you'll see that hotels, the integrated developments with hotel components, there are only 5. And of this 5, all of the 5, you notice, are in the central area. This would be expected because in the central area is where you see all the popular tourist zones. And again, if you want to delve into a further detail, you'll see that Canninghill Piers is the the single integrated project in Singapore that has 4 different components: residence, retail, hotel, and a service apartment. It is the only integrated project that has all these components. Now that I believe we should have a good understanding of Canninghill Piers, I want to move into very interesting and important segment on price. What price is justifiable? First, based on its location in District 6, I take one comparison, which is High Street Centre. Okay, this blue block over here. You'll see that in 2018 there were in fact 2 transactions. These are the most recent transactions at High Street Centre, also known as One North Reach. It's a pretty old property, 99 years tenure since 1969. And if you calculate the age of this property left in 2018, you'll see that 50 years leasehold property was in fact transacting at 1,478 per square feet on average. If you assume a linear depreciation and you make its lease back to 99 years, you realize that it is an equivalent of a purchase price of about 2,926 per square feet on a 99-year leasehold property on the same plot. Next is Eden Residences, also an integrated development with City Hall and in District 6 as well. These are the transactions within the last 2 years. 99 years from 2011. Again, if I do a similar thing, taking the most recent transactions, they were transacted at above 3,000 per square feet on average. If it were 99 years property integrated with City Hall right now, average price would probably be close to 3,500 per square feet. Then I want to look at nearby justifications. It's something that I believe I need to touch, as most buyers, maybe yourself that you're watching, would think about nearby properties. So what is it nearby? These are the key nearby properties that would pretty much come up in any buyer's comparison list. So you'll see that most of them here are, some of them are leasehold, like River Place and the Quayside, the older leaseholds, and then there are newer leaseholds as well, such as Martin Modern, Riviere, and there are also a multitude of freehold properties at the Robertson Quay area, such as Rivergate, Martin Place, Avenue, and of course UE Square right across the road. What's so interesting and unique about Canninghill Piers is when I change this to a master plan and you see the colours, you'll see that Canninghill Piers is the only integrated project on the blue site. Okay, in fact the only one is actually UE Square. Everything else are on orange sites, which means they are pure residential land. And on pink, this pinkish sites are residential, where only the first floor can be commercial units. So Canninghill Piers among these is also unique as it has everything under one roof. Convenience, accessibility, amenities all under one roof, plus the views to boot. It's, I would say, not comparing apples to apples when you compare it with the pure residential plots at the River Valley and Robertson Quay areas. However, if I really want to pick prices per square feet to compare, I would definitely have to take the newer properties, as again, we can't expect a new property to be selling at the same price of the older properties. So my selections would be those within the last 5 years. That would be Martin Modern, just completed this year, just achieved its TOP, the Avenue and Riviere. Taking these 3, you'll find that Riviere and Martin Modern, being 99-year leasehold properties, are averaging about 2,670 per square feet on average. We often read and hear, and data has also proven, that an integrated project typically commands a 15 to 20% premium over their non-integrated counterparts. Taking that in mind, when we calculate Canninghill Piers and we add a 15 to 20% integrated premium, you'll see that it comes up to about 3,070 to 3,200 per square feet. Then, when I put in Avenue as well, that's going at 3,100 per square feet. I think that for the current market climate today, it's quite common to see an integrated, a more convenient 99-year leasehold project selling at a very similar per square feet to a same-aged freehold project within the nearby vicinity. To the buyer, it really depends whether you want to pay that same amount of price per square feet for a freehold property that may be less convenient, or pay the same per square feet that is for Canninghill Piers, that is a property that has everything under one roof and is very, very convenient with great views as well. That's a consideration that the buyer has to make. When it comes to investment, I think Canninghill Piers, being an integrated project, iconic in its own area, I feel that you need to compare it with other properties that are landmark limited edition as well. Two of these that come to mind recently are South Beach Residences at Esplanade MRT in the Bugis area, and also Warwick Residences at Tanjong Pagar. These properties have many characteristics that are similar and comparable to Canninghill Piers. So when South Beach Residences launched, it had a 53.81% premium over the existing projects at that point of time. Then, what happened? Upon South Beach Residences completion, you'll see that it also managed to achieve a higher rental per square feet on average than their nearby counterparts. Duo, another notable integrated project, also at the same time had a higher rent premium than the other properties nearby. Next, Warwick Residences. Warwick Residences also the same thing. You'll notice the same trend, being such an iconic property, 27% higher than its closest comparable in the resale market. Very interestingly, when I saw this, Warwick still managed to increase its price, while for the other existing properties, you'll actually notice a downtrend that I found quite interesting. Again, for rental, Warwick is way ahead of its peers in the nearby location. Similarly, when Canninghill Piers does complete, I believe we will see the same trends appear here, where rentals would be higher than comparable properties nearby. So what price is justifiable? As an investor, if I were to compare the Avenir versus Canninghill Piers comparisons, whether you want to pay the same price per square feet for a freehold property that may have less rental yield versus one that's Canninghill Piers that has a higher possibility of rental because of its unique product positioning. End of the day, Canninghill Piers is not comparing apples to apples when you compare with the other projects in River Valley and Robertson Quay, as it's the only integrated in the only property that has the amount of convenience in the area. For a tenant, they do not really look at the tenure of the property when they are deciding which to rent. If today Canninghill Piers launches at an average of more than 3,000 per square feet, would that be fair, knowing that I've shared all the data that I've shared earlier? I definitely think it would be. So, to sum it all up, first point, location. Canninghill Piers is located at a key point in the center of Singapore's dynamic city centre. It's a global lifestyle, financial and business hub 24/7 and will continue to revitalize and rejuvenate given its importance to the Singapore economy. The second point is landmark. Being such an iconic and landmark structure at 180 meters high and 48 stories tall, Canninghill Piers is the tallest residential block along the Singapore River. It will dwarf nearby structures and ensure great views in many directions, some permanent. In today's Singapore city-state where buildings are so densely packed together, even in prime districts like Orchard Road, many of the tall skyscrapers, the beautiful condominiums, are not that far away from each other, so you don't really get those kind of unblocked, beautiful views like what you can get at Canninghill Piers. Third L is limited edition. Integrated projects are rare, and if you put together service apartment and hotel components, Canninghill Piers is truly in a class of its own. With all this in mind, Canninghill Piers will definitely be a once-in-a-blue moon project you need to consider for your next property purchase. I hope you've learned plenty from my sharing as Project IC today. To give you a roundup, what is my objective as a Project IC? It's of course to represent the developers and company to promote and sell units at Canninghill Piers. My other objectives, I also want to sell ethically and responsibly. If you followed me or watched any of my previous YouTube videos, you've seen that I've shared my thoughts on many other popular projects in Singapore as well. If you've not yet seen them, please click the playlist above to head over to a page where you can see these videos that I've done previously. I also hope that the buyers that choose to make their purchase through me will become my future long-term clients. It is my first time as Project IC, and it happens to be such an iconic and landmark project in Singapore. I make sure that I want to do my due diligence, my research properly, that I'm able to present the best of this project to my buyers, my clients, that they're able to make an informed decision. So these are the key dates to look out for. It has already been announced by the developer. We do hope that there will not be any further changes in rulings, especially due to the current COVID situation. So preview date, the first weekend will be on the 23rd and 24th October weekend, and the official launch will be 2 weeks later on the 6th of November. Time slots are already open for viewing and they are filling really fast. So I've come to the end of my presentation on Canninghill Piers. I hope you've gained value from today's sharing. I've shared many of the key gists and details, however there's still plenty more to share. The official sales kit that I've prepared is more than 100 pages long. That's almost about 4 times this existing presentation. Hope that I've really excited you to want to learn more and to come and visit Canninghill Piers. Consider it for your next property purchase. There's still a lot of things to go through, especially when it comes to the actual launch day preparation, because prices are of course not released yet. We need to talk about unit selection, we need to compare the facings, the floor plans, and how you can best strategize to pick the best units you want and whether it's worth it or not based on the actual prices on launch day. My name is Jim Tay and there are 2 ways to get in touch with me if you'd like to learn more. The first is via the link below. It heads to my website where I have created a special Canninghill Piers sales page where you can first find out the latest information of the project from there and then decide whether you want to fill up the form that's on the page as well at the bottom to enter your details to be contacted for the VVIP preview. Alternatively, I'll also leave my WhatsApp link right away in the description or in the comments section here where you can get in touch with me directly to check in about Canninghill Piers and to register for your preview as well. Again, please give me a like, a thumbs up, helps me a lot. Subscribe if you've not yet done so, watch my next video and I'll see you next time.